Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unleash Your Brilliant Creativity, Inspiring the Creatrix Within You global event. These are important times to remember who we truly are and to reconnect with our true essence and bring forth our light and let our true nature shine. We're here to guide and support each other on this journey of awakening. When we share our wisdom and magic with as many people as possible, and when we all contribute and collaborate together, we facilitate the global awakening of consciousness and support people everywhere during these times of massive change. Unleash Your Brilliant Creativity, Inspiring the Creatrix Within You is a very special event designed to guide you and inspire you to embody your creative spirit, spark the light with you. Unleash Your Brilliant Creativity, Inspiring the Creatrix Within You is a global event in which female speakers from creatives, coaches, astrologers, artists, healers, visionaries, and mystery school teachers will share their journal, the spiritual journal, how they came forth to bring their creative gifts into the world and become who they are today. By sharing our stories, we can inspire women to reconnect to the creatrix, to the sacred divine feminine, creative fire that is burning in our hearts. We empower and motivate each other by nurturing our creative spirit and tending our visionary fires. So let's glow. I am Teresa Chiding. I am your host and the creator of this global event, and I am so delighted today to present my good friend, mentor, and teacher, Tayria Ward. Hello, Tayria.
Hi, Teresa. I'm so excited to be with you, and it's so good to see you. We've known each other a long time now, and it's been a sweet companionship. So,
Oh, likewise. Yes, it's so good to reconnect and to co-create right here. You have so much wisdom to share, and I'm really excited about that. Tara Ward, PhD, lives in Asheville, North Carolina, where she has a private practice offering dream analysis, psychological, and spiritual guidance to clients from all parts of the world. Taria has worked intensively with her own and other people's dreams for more than 45 years, and for nearly 30 years has been an avid student of Indigenous ways of knowing and being. She has conducted a monthly global community dream symposium since 2017 wherein persons from all over the world come to share their dreams and listen to the collective dreaming mind. Taria conducts retreats and vision quests, teaches online courses, and teaches to a wide audience in regular interviews and lecture. She also offers private oracular readings upon request. Such a wonderful time today here with Taria. Please go and let's start with your spiritual journey. Can you give us your background, please?
certainly, I'm happy to describe. I like the idea that you have sort of asked us to share the through line of our spiritual journey. So I'll just say in shorthand, my journey has had many phases. I'm 72 now, so there have been a lot of phases of this life and journey. But the one through line that has been there since the beginning, really, is working with dreams. So I was a big dreamer when I was young. I didn't have anybody to talk to them about. Nobody seemed to have that conversation with me if I brought them up. So I learned early not to, but it was very vivid internal experience for me having these dreams. And then when I was 24 years old, I met a spiritual teacher. Her name was Anne-Marie Colton. And she was quite a visionary, just amazing, and studied all the religions. And it was a wonderful opportunity to work with her as a teacher. But one of the main things that she taught anybody who worked with her was to listen to our dreams, write them down, keep a focused dream journal, write every dream down. And she was completely gifted at telling you what was in your dream. But then, we had to learn our own ways of finding out what was in our dreams. Occasionally we could talk to her about certain ones, but it became quite a part of our journey. I was 20 years in that organization. I became a minister in that organization. And dreams were part of my constant conversation with the person who was my husband then and all my friends. And when I lectured, my dreams were like the texts I was working with. It was like these messages coming from the divine voice that were in the dream that sort of prompted the study that I was doing. So it was, quite a journey, and the dreams were very central to it. And then when I resigned from that ministry, I went right into getting a doctorate in depth psychology because I wanted to learn Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud's approach to the dreams. So it was the dreams then that took me into that. And through my doctoral work, I started working with the indigenous ways of knowing and being, and that became the subject of my dissertation. And part of what the indigenous ways resonated so deeply with me was that their work with dreams. They get up in the morning and discuss their dreams before they even start the day. And the dreams of the community are how they listen to the guidance for the community and make their plans, understand what's going on in the cosmology, but also in the very practical relationships in the community. The dreams tell them. So I thought, okay, so that I went into a lot of work in the shamanic realm with teachers and mentors and guides there, and the dreams then were a through line there. Then I moved to North Carolina in the mountains and started a retreat center after my doctorate was over, and I had finished raising my second daughter and she went off to college. And so I moved to start a retreat center in the mountains of North Carolina where we worked. I did vision quests, I conducted those, and I had done a bunch of them during my years of study. So I facilitated others to have that experience, had a sweat lodge on my property, and we worked with dreams in the mornings at these retreats. And as it turned out, people were always calling me back about their dreams. And so my private practice doing, dream work with people started very organically. I didn't even think of it until it thought of me. And I was getting all these calls. So I started setting up a schedule and doing that. And so then when I moved into town, I was on the mountain for 10 years. And now I live in Asheville. And the private practice with the dream group and teaching about dreams has been what I've done. So here I am, almost 50 years of just following the tracks of the dreams, and the dreams have been just guiding me all along the way. So I would just encourage all of your beautiful listeners to find that track. What is that through line? What is the theme that continues to call you back to it? There's always something. So yeah. And then what I want to talk to about today came out of a dream. So of course.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. Yes, so we are talking about the creatrix within us, right? And the dreams are the ones who brought that inspiration to you. And your topic today is sounding your note, singing your song. Please tell us why you chose this topic.
Oh, okay. I'm really excited to share this topic. It came up with such a burst of energy in my psyche, and then and then the dreams kept coming. I'll tell some of them today, but it's like there's something that is powerfully wanting to be known, and I feel like it's for the collective. It's for all of us. It's certainly for me because they're my personal dreams, but also I feel like it's something pushing up out of the collective dreaming mind that wants us to consider it. So it's this sing your song, sound your note. It sounds really whimsical, which it kind of is. It's very sort of poetic and whimsical, but it's something that I want us to sort of relax our rational minds as we consider this and recognize, even though I'm going to bring some of the rational thought into it, the scientists are discovering this, and I'll talk about that a little bit. So there's a science to this, but also it's part of the deep cellular nature of our being that has been discussed for ever and ever in a variety of ways. If you just start tracking it, you'll find it almost everywhere. There's something about each person having their own note, their own sound. And at the core of every cell of our being is this very particular sound. And my sense is, since I believe in reincarnation, have had lots of experiences with sort of memories around that and so forth, I think it's that same note that goes with us, that came to this earth system with us, that has followed us through our lives and our many journeys on this earth and will be ours as we go on after this earth is no more and we're still having our journey in the cosmological space and time of things. So I think it's like this unique note that is ours and ours alone. So I'll talk more about that, but I just want us to sort of like open ourselves to the idea and listen for that. What is that signature energy, frequency, whatever the words would be, vibration, sound that comes uniquely from us. And the idea is, and I'll read more about it, but the idea is that the whole universe is this symphony. And if we're not sounding, it's like in an orchestra, if one of them puts down their instrument, the song isn't as good, right? It's like you're kind of letting down the whole orchestra, the whole symphony, if you just decide, I don't feel like it today, I'm going to put my instrument down. So if we're just not working with it, if we allow other things to come in so that we're not sounding our own unique note, then we're sort of letting down the universal harmony. And it's a responsibility. It's not something to stress about, but it's something to get excited about, that we have something very unique to contribute to the musical of the spheres. And it's ours to do, and it needs us. Okay, so here's my dream. It was in December, December 19th of last year, 23. So in this dream, it's kind of sweet. I kind of like how it began, because in the dream, I'm thinking, oh, I'm having this dream again, as if I'd had this dream many times. And now I'm coming back to it and having it again. And I love this dream. And I will say, in my waking, I don't remember ever waking up with it. But in the dream, it was very familiar. It's like, okay. And so I believe that we have these dream bodies, that we have lots, that we live in this sort of other dimension of consciousness, which is the dream time and the dream consciousness. So in the dream time, I'm quite familiar with this, and my waking mind is now catching up to this. So in the dream, it's all about sort of reviewing the note of your song. Now, before I had this dream, this was an idea I'd heard of many times, but it becomes very personal when your dream is bringing it to you like this. So then all of a sudden it became very personal to me to really pay attention to what is this about. And so it was showing me, it was like I was reviewing my whole life and seeing how that note of my song had played through my whole life. And the thing that was new in this dream, that I knew in the dream was new, that hadn't been in the former dreams, like I was saying, I was aware I'd had this dream many times, been there many times. This one was, you have to release the wildness in your song. And I thought, oh, wow, okay. Something about releasing the wildness. This was like new information, new instruction for me. And so I woke up with this and I thought, what in the world? I was so intrigued. It sounded so sort of magical and mystical. I had no idea what to think about it. And as I thought, just in my waking thoughts, as I reviewed the dream, I thought the wildness is probably that part of the note that is in us prior to enculturation, prior to the modern industrial complex, prior to the ways that we have developed an ego and a persona, and all the shoulds and the should nots, and all the ways that we become sort of shaped in another way that maybe is contrary to the note that wants to be sung, that is ours to sing. And so we get silenced, and it's like that wild note that wants to be released. And that was the information of the dream. So I told this dream to a couple of my friends. We had a meeting that morning that we often discuss our dreams and thoughts and so forth. Veronica Goodchild and Jocelyn Starfeather. So we were having a conference just really an hour or two after I woke up from this dream. I was fortunate to have this conversation with my friends. and told them about my dream. And Veronica said, look in the front of my book. And this is Veronica's book. Anybody, I really recommend it. Songlines of the Soul, Veronica Goodchild, Pathways to a New Vision for a New Century. It's a wonderful book. But Veronica said, look in the front of my book. So I said, okay. And here it is. It's so amazing. So here's the quote. When the universe, as we each know of it, emerged, it was whole and complete, harmonious, and sounding a resonant note. Each and everything, every being and species uttered a sound that harmonized with each other. They formed a song that was more beautiful than we can imagine, but gradually, notes of disharmony crept into the song. There were those within every species, our own included, who became unable to recognize the note that they produced. This led to greater and greater unbalance and disharmony. Within the shape of the universe, many things come into being then that added to the disharmony. It could be said that one of the tasks of all species is to find their true note and sound it once again. So isn't that beautiful? And it's in it, the author is the she, which is, for those who might know of what that is, this is a book written about the she, and it's spelled S-I-D-H-E. It's an Irish term. Excuse me, I have a dry throat. So it's an Irish term, and the she referred to those who live in the in-between realms. In Ireland, they're very familiar. It's like the fae, the fairy realm, where the guides and the otherworld persons live. And so this message about sounding our note, and it's up to us now to bring it out, was from the she. And this is a lovely book by John Matthews that I also recommend. So I thought, oh, okay. And that took me back, Teresa, to a former dream from years and years ago, even before I met you, years and years ago, when there was this Celtic goddess who was looking for me. The dream was just fabulous. I won't tell the whole story now because it'll take me too far off track, and I found that her name was Danu, D-A-N-U, Danu. She's the Celtic goddess who is the goddess over the the Tuatha De, oh, excuse me, this one, the Tuatha De Danann, that whole dimension, that whole realm, all of those beings, all that wisdom and power. Danu is the ancient, like known as the most ancient of all goddesses, is Danu. So she was looking for me in this dream. She gave me a ring, and I found one just like it, and I wear it. I've worn it for, I don't know, whatever, it's been 15 years or more, ever since she gave me this ring in the dream. So I thought, Danu's the one that gave me this dream about the song, and that's leading me back to the wisdom of the she. And so this is ancient knowledge, is what I'm saying. This is very ancient knowledge. And Jocelyn, when we were in that conversation, reminded me of David Abram, who wrote another book I recommend. I didn't bring it to show, but it's, oh gee, Teresa, do you know that book? Why can't I think of the name of it?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think the name of it either, but
David Abram, I know he's written one called Becoming Animal, but well, anyway, he tells in this story of his journeys in Africa, and of the people there who, when a baby is conceived, they find the song of that child. They find it like when the mother puts her feet on the earth, they find the song of that child, and they start singing that song. So the song is sung to the child while it's in the womb. The song is sung to the child when it's being born. And then all through the life, that song is sung to the child if the child has a birthday, if the child gets in trouble and loses its way, if the child, they sing the song and bring them back to themselves. And then even as they're dying, the song is being sung. So this is a tradition in some of these ancient cultures that is just, that's how they do. It's like oxygen. You have this song. So, I was reminded of all this, my dreams seemed to come out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, here was all this context for what we're talking about here. So,
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. Yes, I know your dreams are amazing, and I know you keep sharing them, and I love it because this the title and the topic of the interview, like singing your song and sounding your note, which everybody has their own unique one, is kind of very much in alignment to what the summit is about, the creativity within you, not
right.
we may be similar alike, but not the same. So bringing that out of your soul from your song, that's beautiful inspiration, and also makes me think how the word universe, one verse, and how
Oh,
you mentioned,
right.
yes,
Beautiful. I love that,
yes,
Teresa.
like how you mentioned, if we
Yeah.
are all playing or singing, we are in harmony and bringing that to, the sound of the earth and the universe. And one more thing that I caught, like you mentioned, you had your dream December 19th. That was the eve of the solstice, of the winter solstice.
Mm-hmm.
So that also, to me, that's the return of the light. The darkest. You have your dream in the dark of the womb on the winter, but it also signifies the return of the light. And we're speaking over here of her brilliant creativity. Like bring that on. The fire, the creative fire. So I just wanted to point that out. That's wonderful. And talk about the scientific and mythological stories related to this theme, please.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me just say about that. It's wonderful that you noticed that it was on the 19th of December. And Jocelyn and I have been conducting these with our Dream Symposium group, the Yuletide Dreaming, where you pay attention to your dreams starting on the 20th through the 31st. And that each day there's your dream, like on the 20th, it's whatever you dream that night is a oracle for January. What you dream on the next night is an oracle for February, all through those 12 days. But both of us have noticed that the one that we have on the 19th before the Yuletide dreaming is an oracle for the whole year. So I'll just offer that to all of you to just, look back in your journals for what you had during those days and see if there are oracular significance, but also in the future to sort of pay attention. And both of the last 2 years that I've been doing this, that my dream on the 19th was massive oracle, which this one is, isn't that amazing? So I'm glad you pointed that out. I didn't think to say that. Okay, so in terms of the scientific, this is kind of interesting. One of my friends, when I mentioned this, and we talked about it in the Dream Symposium, told me, and I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm just going to tell y'all that Pam Montgomery has had these experiences and writes about, apparently, and teaches about how she's discovered the note in each plant, that each plant has its own note, and she's doing some work with that. So for anybody who wants to go down these rabbit holes, and I intend to, but I just haven't done it yet, that's something to point to. And I just love that she said this, that she is talking about all the songs in the plants. And then a friend just gave me this book recently. It's called The Secret Language of Trees. And I have lots of trees experiences that I can tell in another time, but so I'm often gifted with these books about trees. It's a beautiful little book. It's by Paulina Faye, F-A-E, which is a nice name. But I opened the book, and the first thing I read in the book, and this is right after this whole dream experience, this is the trees talking. We are weavers of song. Our branches pull harmonies from the stars. Our roots reel in the melodies from the sea. Restless aspects of us dance across the land and fly across the sky. Within our stillness, there is much more happening than meets the eye. So that's a very poetic look at it. But I just thought that's amazing. This woman writes this about the language of trees, and the first thing is that the song of the tree. And I know sometimes if you go put your back on a tree and sort of let the tree just talk to you, you can feel that song.
Yeah, that's powerful. Thank you for that. I'm gonna get that book because I really resonate with that. And you and I were both connected by trees as well, tree
Right.
sisters. And
Yeah.
that makes me think also about the uniqueness of a person. I have a big on my awakening, I had a big realization. I'm in California. The redwood tree is my tree. I was born in a city called Redwood City.
Oh, beautiful.
The redwoods are where I get my inspiration. A lot of the poems and things that have come to me is when I'm spending time in the redwoods. So that is a beautiful connection. Thank you for bringing the trees in into, because when you say singing, I'm like, I don't know, my voice kind of crackles. But now that you mention it, and actually last week I there's a redwood grove over here too, and I did ceremony there. So that is our song, our note, that you're finding it. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm glad you just mentioned that, Teresa, because I do want to point out in my sort of meditations or musings about all of this, um, my thought is, and others will have different experiences around this. All of us will find our own way with it. But my thought of it is that there isn't a note that you can play on an actual instrument that is going to be your song, that is going to that the when the music of the spheres comes into our instruments, it's like a photograph of, it's like if you're looking at the photograph of something, it isn't the full thing. And I feel like the music that we get to hear, these beautiful harmonies that the genius musicians and composers give us, that those notes, that there's something behind that and beyond that, and that they sort of bring to our awareness, but there's something other that's more of a just maybe an essential vibration or something, and that's what it is. Like when I'm speaking to you right now, I'm guessing you're hearing my song, and I'm not singing, and I couldn't tell you what note it is, but I think when I listen to you, I hear your song. This
Is
is the
that essence, is
Yeah,
that essence and resonance within each other's essence.
right. And it's for us to find that, whatever that is, and it's an essence, a frequency, a vibration, but it has music. It does have music. And that's what I'm going to tell here is that this article that came out in last year in the Atlantic, it was written by a man named Adam Frick. He said, scientists found ripples in space and time. Um, the whole universe is humming. Actually, the whole universe is Mongolian throat singing. Every star, every planet, every continent, every building, every person is vibrating along to the slow cosmic beat. And I just love that. And this is a scientist. This is a scientific journal that he's writing from or for, not the Atlantic, but so. And then all of a sudden, people started sending me articles. One dear friend sent me a couple of these too. Um, that the astronomers now are beginning to hear the celestial choir of gravitational waves for the first time. And this is in Advanced Science News from last year. Our earlier data told us that we were hearing something, but we didn't know what. Now we know that it is music coming from the gravitational universe. As we keep listening, we'll likely be able to pick out notes from the instruments playing in this cosmic orchestra. And, we are the universe, as we know. We're all one thing. So if they're picking up in the gravitational field in space-time, this music in the orchestra of the universe, of course we're music. Of course we're made of that. That's who we are. We are, the tiniest cells in this massive universal symphony, and we certainly have our note. So it's to know this. It's just like to let ourselves dream into it. Like I said, relax the rational mind a bit so that the dreaming thinking, the deeper wisdom thinking can come forward. Um, and this all reminded me too of when I went to Africa. This was way back in the 90s. I remember I had just gotten to this village. It was called Maranga. And we were staying in this little village. Never have they ever had any electricity or plumbing or water running or any of those things. It's all carry water from the river and fire for cooking and warmth and all that. So I was there, and we got there in the evening, and I got up the next morning before everybody was awake, and just wanted to see where I was. I wanted to see the sun come up and finally get, the first light of what the little village I just landed in. And I started to see all the huts and all the, cooking hut and a bathing hut and a sleeping hut. They all have there's little separate huts, and the one for the goats and cows. And, it was just, I was in this little place. And I started hearing this like distant sound, this distant, and I called my whole writing about that experience, a distant rhythm. But in the distance, I could hear the music. It was Africa. It was this place. It was like the music I was hearing, and I'll never unhear it. Even though I'm here now in USA and, cars on the street and all the things, I can still hear that music of Africa. Once you've heard it, you can't unhear it. And I'm sure we all have those stories of the places where we just heard that note. And if you remember the places that you've been, you can recall, probably, maybe you never thought of it as a note, but if you go back in your memory, you probably can listen for that note and find it again. So I just wanted to share that with you. And the people there sing songs all the time. The African women and people, they sing songs day and night. We worked in the fields and they were singing songs. At the end of every row we planted, they sang a song. When we stopped to have a sandwich, they sang a song. It was singing all the time. And they had little choreographies that go with it that they all knew. So you could tell they do this all the time, singing. It's so great. And I asked one of the women after a very long day if she was tired. I was just so exhausted. And she was like tired, like she knew some English, but she didn't know if they had a word for that. She said, no. She said, we just stay in happy place and happy time. And then she started singing. And I could just tell the songs are what kept them alive, happy, glowing. Even in their poverty, they were just glowing, and it was all about music and the song. So
Yeah, that's the deeper connection. And thank you for sharing that. And when you share, I loved it when you're talking about that song, you have your eyes closed. And I can relate to that, everybody, too. When you're thinking of a memory, you're remembering, you close your eyes so you can take yourself back to that place and time and deeper listening and just the whole, everything becomes alive again. Such a beautiful share, Tarja. Thank you. And
you
to the next a little bit that we have here, what do you suggest for us to do in a practical way as we consider these ideas, and how are you working with it?
Well, this is a question I'm living. I certainly don't have the answers, but I'm beginning. I'm beginning. It's like and I'll tell you a little more about my dreams. But my dreams are insisting that I keep working with this. But in my waking, like the other night, I was, after watching the news, which sometimes can like really lower your vibration, right? It's like, I feel the need to know, but you have to recover from that. And so I'm thinking, what should I eat? Maybe I should have some popcorn, or maybe, it was like, I didn't need any more food. I'd had a nice dinner. And I thought, oh, calm down, Taria. And rather than sort of scan in my mind, what to ravage in the kitchen, I said, just find your note right now. Just calm all that down and find your note. And it was so beautiful. All that sort of like munchy, mindless, whatever, it just all calmed down. And I don't know whether I was finding my note, but I was thinking about it. And it seems to me, probably everybody will have different experiences of it. But for me, it seems like it's here in the belly, like maybe in the third chakra, or in that space between the heart chakra and the third chakra. I'm not sure, but it feels like when I'm looking for my note, that's where my attention goes, that it's something there. And So I've been working with it that way, and it seems to me anytime, and trying to like sort of stay alert to this, but anytime we start getting self-critical or really down on ourselves or depressed or whatever, if we bring back to mind just how do I sound my note? Because when we sound that note, we're in harmony with everything. And when we're in harmony with everything, I don't think depression and self criticism and self doubt and worry and anxiety, I don't think they can survive when we're sounding that note. I think that's beyond all that. The universe is not in anxiety, it's evolving, it's creating, it's massive, it's doing stuff. But I think that our human anxiety can be um, uh, alleviated by working with this idea and keeping us in a place of just harmony with ourselves first and with each other and with all things. So,
That's really good. It makes me think like you spoke where you feel it and the chakras. I feel it on my throat, and it made me think of like sometimes when I'm hiking, especially by myself, I hum. I hum.
mm,
I'm just
beautiful.
walking, and I'm humming, and I don't even realize it till later, But you hear the birds, the wind, whatever's going on, other sounds of nature and life. And I think our bodies want to embody that and also join that circle, like ceremonies that you conducted and that you do. Everything has song, drumming, movement, some kind of. So yeah, that's a really good point. And to explore that, where in our body does a vibration feel that it wants to come out?
Yeah, I love that you say that you hum while you're walking in the woods. That's beautiful. And I would love to release that wildness in me too. So that's a good inspiration for that. I happen to listen to this young man named Ryan Bledsoe. His family have been visited by what they understand to be extraterrestrials. It's quite a story. A friend of mine, Jocelyn, actually sent me the links on these, and so I listened. It's compelling to listen to, but and uh, some I think government officials that he was working with um, were going out and they were searching for a place and they had I think I can't remember quite the story, but they had this kind of fear going on and they had their guns and it was like they were going out, but they didn't want to be cap- captured or whatever the fear was. And the extraterrestrial, the guidance that had come to this fellow, Ryan, um, was they had said, when you go into that space, just sing. And I guess there's a song that he just found and was singing. And he said, just go in and sing. And he said, he said, when he went with these guys, whenever they started, like getting all nervous and, you know, put their hands on their guns he just would sing this song and it calmed all of it down. There was absolutely no fear. He said anytime fear would arise, he would be singing this song. And I thought, well, there's a story. I don't know. I don't know. But it's like these things that we just sort of listen and see what's being said here. And so I think it's an antidote to fear too, mainly.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. I mean, we start to hear so many different things and it's all coming together. And with your work here, how will dreams and dream work help us with this?
Well, I feel like it's from our dreaming body, our dreaming mind, that we are always being brought back to whatever that note is. That's how our soul, psyche, the spirit, works with us to try to help us align ourselves with the truth of who we are, rather than these false selves that we have to develop. We have to develop the little girl who goes to third grade. We have to develop the little Girl Scout. We have to develop professional person, we have to develop that, whatever it is in the culture. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but often it has very little to do with our actual note, who we are, and it can distract us completely from that. But the dreams forever, I think, are bringing us back. So, I can tell you a couple of dreams that I had. It's so interesting. Like I said, I had this dream on the 19th of December. And as we all know, you would get all excited about a subject or a dream, but 2 weeks later, hardly even thinking about it, right? Just like because Christmas and whatever, it was just not in my frontal lobes to be thinking about this thing. Then my dreams started bringing me back to it. It was so insistent and interesting because this doesn't always happen for me. So one of the nights, is January. I think it was about the 7th or 8th of January. I had a dream where all night long I was like, I don't know about you, but sometimes in the night when I kind of wake up, get halfway awake, all these anxieties can't come in, all these old painful memories or things I wish I'd said better, done better, stood up to, or all the sort of like things I got to do tomorrow that I should have done last week, and those kind of anxiety, the kind of things that maybe we need to consider, but not in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep, right? So it was like those kind of things were coming in, even in the dreaming. And then something welled up in me. It was like, sound the note, sound the note, sound the note. And so even my dream was telling me to work with this. It's like, let us show you. This is how it's done. And as I was doing that, all of the worries and the fears and the old mistakes and the old whatever, it was just like they didn't have any energy anymore for this moment. They were gone. They had been put to sleep. And this whatever this was singing. And I thought, wow, the dreams are really, um, they're really bringing me back to this. It wasn't my conscious mind that was doing this. And then a couple nights later, same thing was happening. And then in the next part of that dream, I was sitting at a round table and working with this. And then all of a sudden, open the door, in walks these government officials like the CIA and the FBI and the government guys. They sit down and they're going to address me. And for what reason, I don't know, that I didn't remember or even know probably in the dream. But the song was gone. It was like I couldn't find it. It was gone. And I thought that's how I think the symbol of the CIA, FBI, and the government officials are those governing principles in our own psyche. The one that says you got to do work, you got to get the car fixed, you got to, it's like all the sort of like you got to be the whatever you think you're supposed to be. All the sort of like governing principles that we develop in our psyche that become our own inner government. So I'm not projecting this outward for now, although we can go there, but for now, it's like the government inside our own psyche was just saying, shut this down. You're not gonna, you're gonna become something else, and we need you to be this if you're singing. So I thought, okay, that was a warning. It's like those governing principles are going to try to shut this down, and you have to know that. And get your courage, or sing your song, like put down the fear with that. So yeah.
Yeah, is the silencing that has happened throughout history, for whatever, speaking your truth or being who you are, your true essence and your true nature. Yes, that's interesting. And that's like the linear world that we are here, but then also the dream world and everything else, circular time with nature. It's a very, very different. So we have to be in both.
Yes, right. Historically, people have been put down. I'm thinking of a current story in the news of a woman who just prevailed after, 50 years ago, a sexual assault, and now she's like having her moment in court, and it's coming up, and I feel like she's sounding her note, singing her song, and the courts are hearing it, and the jury's hearing it, and they're, it's like, wow, okay, eventually, these notes have to be sounded, and then something else can happen. And she didn't give up on that. And I just think it's a great story. So when you said that, putting it down, I thought, okay, yeah, women have been put down, men have been, all of us, all of the enculturation practices, especially, have tried to put down that note and abuse us in certain ways. And we're just not going to have it anymore.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other closing thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the audience, please?
Well, I would just say, I ran into this little quote recently. I don't know who this person is. Her name's Donna Roberts. And I don't know if I found it on Facebook or something. But as you can see, all the synchronicity that just keeps coming with this. And this was, I think it was a little meme somebody had on Facebook. But she said, a friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words.
Oh my goodness. That's just magical.
Isn't that magical and so beautiful? It's not just doing this for ourselves, but when our friends sort of need us. And again, it's not the literal find the notes and sing the song, with our vocal cords, but it's like that resonance that we find, that we know their note and we can sing it back to them somehow. However that decides to come through us, whether it's an encouraging word or whether it's a I see you or whatever it is, it's just presence or an invitation to lunch, whatever it is, it's like sing the note back to each other so that we can encourage each other to find their own
And I
level.
think that's extremely important nowadays. We all need those people in our lives, because sometimes, we get boggled down with things and we forget or we let our guard down or just put ourselves, and it's important to have people like you and I, mentors and teachers and guides who you're able to share this with. Like, you have your friends you can share your dreams with. I have, I'm sharing my time in nature with the trees and,
Oh, beautiful.
what's to come, so it's important to have this community. That's why I'm creating these so people can find us, people can find what we have to offer for others, and just beautiful. And tell us a little bit about, you have a new program coming up, of course. What are your offerings of classes that you have going on for this year?
Sure, I'm happy to tell that. Now, the free gift that I think I gave you the link to is how to sign up for the Dream Symposium. So Jocelyn Starfeather and I, for 7 years now, have been conducting a monthly Dream Symposium. It's on a Friday, one Friday a month for 2 hours, where people from all over the world come and we listen to the dreams, the dreaming community, the dreams that are coming to the community, just like the indigenous people have done for millennia, listening to the dreams of the community. So we listen to each other's dream just at the collective level of the dreams. We don't work the dreams privately in this public forum, but we listen to what the message is that is for everyone, for the collective mind. Sort of like the way the dreams I've been sharing with you are not so much, they are personal to me, but they're also, the level of the dream that is for the community is how and why I've been sharing them. So we do this in the Dream Symposium. Everyone's invited. It's free. You're so welcome to come and bring your dreams. And even if you just come and listen, it's like you're bringing your heart and your note and your energy to it, but also you're learning about the language of the dream. It's like a real education in the language of the dream and how to listen to the dreaming of the earth, how to listen to your own dreams, and how to just be with others in that dreaming space. So you're invited there. Now I have just started a new program. So anybody who's interested in it can write to me. You'll have my email address, I think there, tariaw@sbcglobal.net. That would be the best address to use, and put dream group in the subject line. So if you're interested in this idea I'm about to describe, you can write to me about it. I've just started small dream groups. I'm going to cap them at 6 people, and we'll do them on Zoom, and we will work on the private messages in your dreams. and we'll do the work to discover what the dream comes to you individually for at this moment in your life. And so we'll go deeper into the private stories and what's being sort of teased out through the dream. And it'll be a very personal kind of way. And listening to each other work the dreams and hearing each other's stories, it's so intimate and powerful and soulful and beautiful. So I'm going to start these, and there'll be 6 weeks, 6-week dream groups. And so if you're interested in joining one of those, I'll be setting new. I've got the ones that are current, I've filled. So that'll be going through March, I think. But I'll be filling them, I think, on an ongoing way. So if you're interested in joining one of these small dream groups for 6 weeks, 6 people, doing the private work of your dreams in this beautiful little community, it's $333 for the 6 weeks, which I think is a good, hopefully affordable. And so let me know if you're interested in joining one of these small dream groups. And other than that, I do private work. I do private dream analysis for an hour sessions. So if you just want to work with me one-on-one privately, you can contact me. I also do oracle readings. I was guided in a dream to study the tarot, which I have done for many, 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 many years. And so I will do a tarot reading for you if you'd like to consult the oracle in that way, which I feel like is part of the dreaming.
Yes.
From that
Thank you
sense.
so much. And I can attest to that. I've done it all, the oracle readings and the dream and a retreat with Tayria has been wonderful. It's always so much knowledge and wisdom that comes from you. And you just beaming always. I appreciate you and honor you. And also the free gift that Tayria mentioned is the Global Community Dream Symposium, which the URL will be right underneath this video. And that too is amazing how so many synchronicities happen. And most of the time I'm not able to attend live, so I will listen to it later. But it's just like it's always at the right moment that I was supposed to listen to that. And it's just, yeah, it just takes you to another place. It brings you back also to your soul and connected to everybody in the dreams, what the messages are they're bringing for the collective. It's just an amazing you know, forum for everybody to attend. So I highly recommend it and check out
Mhm.
Taria's website for all the wonderful work that she's doing. Thank you, Taria, so much.
And if when you go to my website, it's tariaward.com. If you'd like to be on my mailing list, so you know when these things are coming up, there's a little form there on the front page of the home page of the website to sign up for my mailing list. So sign up if you're interested to follow any of this.
Definitely, yes. Taria is such a knowledgeable and full of wisdom, and she can help you, guide you, and mentor you like she has done with me. So I appreciate you so much, Taria. Thank you for being here with us. And you know, our listeners, go find Taria on her website, what she offers, and enjoy. Thank you, Taria.
All blessings to you, Teresa, and all blessings to all your listeners. It's just been
Oh,
an honor and a delight to be with you. Thank you.
thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.